Dominating your fantasy league? Prove it.
Shaping up to be a great game between these two teams. There's no telling what might happen.
Enhance the game with 3 easy steps. Predict, compete, and win. Start now and play your first $20 risk-free. Only on WINVIEW.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. I'm so excited because I got a great stream lined up for y'all right now. We're going to be live for about 45 minutes to an hour, but we got some good things to talk about. And let me tell you why I'm really excited, okay? First off, let me set the stage here, okay? Because y'all know why I started this channel. I started this channel because I was so tired of the media not knowing anything about this team. I was tired of a lot of our beat writers being such homers and almost like they were bought off, okay? I wanted to give real live content for the Miami Dolphins. So I started the channel. In starting the channel, I realized that I don't always get the opportunity to enjoy content myself. And I had to tell y'all there is one individual whose content that I started watching a few months ago. You know, and y'all know I'm not biased in this community. I watch everybody's content, but there was one individual that I watched their content a few months ago, and I enjoy it. I low-key watch it and enjoy it, stay behind the scenes. And then all of a sudden, I was able to communicate with the owner of the channel, and we were able to set up this live stream right now. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome to y'all one of the YouTubers that I actually watch. He is new on the scene. He started about 4 months ago, if I'm not mistaken. And let me tell you, I enjoy the content, and that's why I was excited about doing this stream, because I love when people make Dolphin content, and this is one of my favorite YouTubers. Shout out to the homie PHIN Addict Fury with Larry K. What's going on, man?
TD, what's up? It's a pleasure to be here. I'm blessed, man, and I appreciate the kind words. Seriously.
No, hey, I mean those words, and I enjoy what you're doing, man. You're a natural at it. You're speaking your opinions. You're speaking your mind, and sometimes, you know, I steal shamelessly. So just want you to know that. But I want people to, and one of the main reasons why I'm excited about this, because I hate that, you know, TDPHINSTALK has been a channel that's been established going on a little over 3 years now. And I'm a humble person. I don't say that I'm anything in this community, but a lot of people tell me that TDPHINSTALK is a staple in the community. But sometimes there are so many other YouTubers that have great content, but some people don't know about them because of channels like TDPHINSTALK, because of channels like Dougly Do Wrong. They just don't know about other great content. So that's why I'm excited about this, because I get to actually put you on screen, show people who TDPHINSTALK listen to sometimes. So,
and that's dope. And I really appreciate that opportunity. I didn't even know you listened to me like that, because you're one of my main inspirations for even getting involved in this scene, because I broadcast in other mediums. But when I started after games, like you said, I don't necessarily want to listen to Omar Kelly. I don't want to necessarily see the pre-can press conferences or the radio shows. So I started looking on YouTube. I found your channel, Dougly's, and I'm watching. I'm like, yo, they have a lot to say, some good perspectives. Let me try to hop on. And again, humble, like, let me just see what I could do just to get my own thoughts out. Never imagined you would have been watching it and then had me on, but you know, you never know where things lead. And I love the community. You are a very important person in the Dolphin community. So
thanks, bro.
You know,
man, I appreciate that, man. Listen, if y'all haven't checked out Phin Addict Fury, you got to go check him out. As a matter of fact, Justin Herbert just dropped the link to your channel in the comment section. So Justin Herbert is a fan of yours. I don't think it's the real Justin Herbert, but
yeah,
he's a fan of yours. But listen, man, King Mill with the donation, obviously another fan of yours, because he said, I've been waiting for this. TD, what's up, Larry K? What's up? Jersey definitely in the house. And when he says Jersey definitely in the house, I don't know much about you personally, so tell us who you are, where you're from. Is it from Jersey? I mean, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm from Jersey. I'm currently in Newark, New Jersey, so I apologize if you hear any sirens or commotion outside. That's just my window. But yeah, I grew up in Jersey. I grew up a Miami Dolphins fan. Crazy story is, because no team wants to claim Jersey. All the new teams want to claim New York, so that bothered me. I had to do a report when I was a little kid on an autobiography. So I went to the little biography section. I found somebody with the same name as me, Larry. It was Larry Zonka. I did a report on him. And then I went down to Florida because I got a bunch of cousins down in Boca Raton and Miami. And I'm a kid, so I don't really understand regional stuff at the time. And I just tell them, they're like, who are you a fan of? I go, oh, the Miami Dolphins. And they're like, really? We're fans of the Dolphins, this and that. So that was the 90s. And Marino was big. So it went from there. Grew up in Jersey, have another podcast where I talk about politics and things. I'm actually an attorney. That's my day job. So I always like doing broadcasts, and I've been a huge diehard Phins fan for so long. I was like, yo, why don't I put the broadcasting and the Phins together and hop on from Jersey? No one's ever questioned, like, yo, you sound like you're from the Northeast, and question it. But we're a big family. You know, Phins are all over the world really now. So
wow. So I'm learning some good stuff about you. You say you were an attorney. What do you specialize in?
Criminal law.
Oh, okay. And, well, I might need your help because you know I just got a complaint. Tua just hit me with a cease and desist.
For real?
No, I'm just kidding.
No, I know. I figured, but you know what? Based on what you say, you never know. Now, a Tua near might have hit you. Maybe multiple class action Tua nears against you. That I could see.
Man. But that's what's up, man. And maybe you know, we can have a brief conversation on what you know about the Deshaun Watson legal situation and things like that.
Right.
And your thoughts from a legal standpoint. We can get to that later on, man. But I'm excited. Have you ever met Doug? Because you're in Jersey with him.
Bro, no. You know what's funny? When I was watching Doug once, I heard his accent, and I'm like, he sounds like he's from around here. And then I had to find out. So I clicked some contact or something he had, and sure enough, he was in Jersey. And I was like, yeah, I knew he was in Jersey. He's about 15-minute drive from me where his town is to Newark. So haven't met him yet, but hopefully, you know.
Have you guys got a chance to speak yet or no?
No, I haven't spoken to him yet. You're the first headliner, like top dude I've actually talked to. So just saying, you know. You don't have to give yourself credit. I'll give it to you. So
hey, you're the headliner, man. That's what it's about, bro. Listen, but we're gonna have to set that up. I gotta get a collab with y'all going, man.
100%.
But listen, man. So let's get into the content because that's what people are waiting on. I'm glad to again actually talk to you one-on-one. This is like, other than our personal chat, this is the first time we're actually on screen together. That's why I'm just excited about this. So bear with me. Let me. I want to ask you some questions, actually, because everybody hears me talking. They're tired of hearing TD. I know some of your takes. And I know what you agree on with me. I know what you disagree on. But there's certain things I want to see where you stand. I want to know what's your thought process, and maybe this is a good opportunity for people to hear you as well.
Yeah,
because I'm open to all opinions. Mine isn't always the right one, and it's not the only one that matters. So I have to ask you. Well, first off, I'm sorry. This is one thing I need to ask you before we even start.
Right.
How long have you been a Dolphins fan again?
So
Years.
The early 90s, I want to say like 91. So
All
that's
right, so are you probably around my age? I don't know.
I'm 36. About to be 37.
I'm 36. When's your birthday, man? Don't say January.
April 16th.
See, I'm older than you, man. By 3
You are
months,
older.
3 months.
Yes.
I'll be January, man. That's pretty cool. So,
so we have similar experience.
I was just about to say 90s, you're just like me. So we're the same, because when we were 1 through 10, we didn't understand the game to appreciate it. Even in our teams, we didn't understand it to appreciate it.
Right.
We didn't come to an understanding and appreciation of the game probably until high school. And not even so much then, but really diving into it until we were at least 15 years ago, around 20. And that's around 2004, 2005-ish,
right.
To actually understand why you love the team. So I think this is going to be a great conversation because we're both on the same page here.
100%.
Let me ask you, after all we've been through for all these years, how do you feel about where we are today?
TD, I got to be honest with you. For the first time 3 years ago, when Greer took this thing over and they said, look, Greer's going to hire his coach. Greer's going to strip it down to the studs and rebuild it. And then we acquired all those draft picks. I was as optimistic as I've been since, I thought Marino had a chance at it, or since we had those Jimmy Johnson defenses. And I was excited about the prospect of a true rebuild for the first time in like 20 years, where we're going to go out, we're going to get our quarterback, we're going to stock the team with premier players and have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to have that many draft picks in the first and second round and go out and get our guys. I was the most optimistic I've been. And I have to be honest with you, it's almost now like I could say I've fallen back to earth and I'm depressed. If I'm going to say I'm depressed, it's not like a flash in the pan depression where I'm banging walls or throwing remotes. It's a deep, dark, apathetic depression where I'm just sitting here like, yo, we're just doing the same 3-year cycle again. And I kind of just feel like just devoid of emotion, just like this is where we are again. We thought it was going to be the biggest rebuild. We were going to have all these assets. This time was going to be different. And now we're back to square one, it seems like. And I just kind of feel empty inside. If I could, kind of try to convey my emotions, I just feel like, well, this is the life of a Dolphins fan, and we're just stuck on this cycle. Are we ever going to see a Super Bowl contending team in our lifetime? It sounds really depressing, but that's where I'm at, man.
So, and I'm gonna lead up to a main question, but how do you feel about our coaching staff in our front office right now?
I gotta be Flores. And if some of my old videos too, when he was going through the search for the offensive coordinator, I said, you know what? He's shown me enough that I have faith in him. Even though I didn't agree with that hire for OC, at this point, the way the players are, playing on the field, the way the OC hire went and is going, the way the talent evaluation, bro, somebody closer to the ground. We could say Greer all we want. Somebody closer to the ground made the analysis that we can get rid of these key veteran players at every layer of our defense and key positions on offense and let the rookies step up. And that's been a failure. So I question Flores. I don't know if he has some kind of ego situation. I don't know if he's just mismanaging assistant coaching hires and talent, analysis. But
yeah,
I don't have a lot of faith in him right now. It's sad because a year ago I had so much faith in him.
Wow. Listen. Oh, crap. Larry, listen, man. I am so sorry, bro, but I actually have to end this stream.
Okay.
We just traded for Deshaun freaking Watson,
Did
man.
we?
Yes, bro. I got to go, bro. Listen, I'll start another stream, okay?
Okay.
You're welcome to come in, all right?
Yeah. All right, cool.
No, I was just joking, bro.
Man, why you do that to me? What? I was happy. You know what's crazy? This is a huge opportunity for me, and I'm such a Dolphins fan that I was totally fine with ending the stream just because that happened. You know how excited I just got, bro? Because it's that close. You saw my true reaction. You saw my true reaction. Now there's no BSing now,
bro.
bro.
I'm sorry. I had to get you.
How you gonna do that to me?
I didn't just get you. I'm sure I got people in the comment section too, bro. Hey, they know every so often I take advantage of those opportunities. I had to, bro. Please forgive.
You're forgiven, but shoot. Oh, I was excited.
Hey, put it in the comment section. Did I get you? Yes or no?
You got me bad, bro. Because your delivery is so damn good. You let it off that way. Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
Man.
Oh man. See everybody, man. See they mad at me. TD, you suck.
Oh.
You cold-blooded. You got me big time. Yep.
Oh my God. Oh, you got two camps with that whole situation, right? You got the camp that would be devastated if you said that, and then the camp that would jump for joy.
Yeah, even people watching right now, we probably had about 30% of the people who heart dropped, like they just lost the love of their life. She just said, "I don't want you anymore. It's over," and they're just like, "Ooh." And then you had the other people was like, "Oh my gosh, are you serious? Oh my God!"
Yes.
Then when they heard that I'm just playing, they got a little upset with me. Everybody.
Oh my God.
Somebody said your face was so real. Anyway, man, let's get back to it. I'm so sorry, man. I just could not pass up on that opportunity because I knew I would get you and everybody else. So gotcha.
Got me bad.
All right, man. So all right, let's get back to
yeah. I love it. You got to inject that into the stream. I dig it.
Let's get back to the action, man. So, with that being said, Tua Tagovailoa, what do you think about the kid? The grown man. I need to start calling him a kid.
I call everybody a kid, and it's a real problem because I don't know why we do it. We're getting a little older, but we're not that old where everybody's a kid. But look, you know what it is with him, and I kind of saw this, and somebody had a story recently. I forget who wrote it, kind of saying a lot of media hype drove this Tua kind of obsession and stardom. Now, look, he had a brilliant college career. No one's taken away from that. But there were certain factors in his college career, and I think a lot of people didn't really follow his college career. They just say they did. They just heard the name and the buzz, and they got excited and caught up in the mass hysteria. He shrunk in big games in college, and that's a known thing. And he had one of the most dominant teams in college football, so he wasn't going to lose much. His stats were going to look good. He gets to the NFL. I was always worried. Is he injury prone, number one? Number two, are these shrinking in big moments going to hit him again when the competition's more even? He's a smaller guy. Here's my main analysis of him. And this is, I'm sure you've heard it on my channel. But look, he was marketed as he doesn't have all the physical crazy strengths. He's not going to run the fastest 440. He's not going to sling the ball all over the field with just sheer arm strength. He's not going to be taking hits all the time and punishment and surviving. The reason you want him, the reason he's a top quarterback to be drafted in the top 5 is because he's a polished product. He knows how to read the field. He knows how to deliver the ball accurately. He's the polished product. So his physical limitations are irrelevant because he's already polished. Whereas a Josh Allen or a Justin Herbert, they're not polished, but they have all these physical raw attributes. You can mold them. Tua came in the league, TD, and I got to be honest with you, watching him in his, 13 starts now? Watching him, he doesn't look like the polished project. So I wonder, how much can he improve with his physical limitations? If he's not the polished product as far as reading the field, delivering the ball accurately, how much growth does he have in him when his physical attributes are limited? I feel like he can be a top 15 quarterback because he seems accurate. You've seen him sling it the last 2 weeks here and there. But will he be a top 5? Is he a generational quarterback, a franchise-changing quarterback like a Josh Allen? No,
that's where I want to jump in real quick. Do we need a top 5 quarterback? Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate on this conversation because, and this will be one of the few times where I try to be the guy for Tua because I want to break down. The conversations like this make me even. It helps me think through myself playing, devil's advocate. We're talking about will he be top 5, and it doesn't look like it, but do we need top 5?
I think no. I think you need a top 15. I think the days of I think because the league has changed so much, right? You go to the early 2000s, you could win a Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer because defenses, the league was more even as far as defense and offense with the rules and the way they call
now
things.
It's lopsided.
Yeah, so you're going to need a top 15 quarterback and still a great defense, at least.
Can he be a top 15 quarterback?
Yes. But see, the second half of that is this. We're the Miami Dolphins, and you go back 3 years, and even right now, we don't have this dominant team all around him, and we've proven we have trouble selecting players to formulate that dominant team. So we personally probably do need a top 5 to try to jolt us up out of this mediocrity because we don't have the other pieces. And I think a lot of people thought Tua was that dude.
And that's where I kind of stand on it. I agree you don't need a top 5 quarterback. I agree you need a top 15. Well, you can get away with a 10 to 15 quarterback if the team around him is perfect. And that's not realistic in the NFL. That is once every 5 years you get one team like that. The Ravens with Flacco and different stuff like that.
Yes.
So I more so lean to top 10. And even if we talk about the 10th spot, it's fine. You can win a Super Bowl with a guy like that, but you need the rest of your team to be pretty darn good. They don't have to be perfect, but they got to be pretty darn good, led by a defense. Top 5 quarterbacks can carry deficiencies on a team.
Yes.
So I agree with that, but that's kind of where I stand with it. But as far as Tua, you said he can be a top 15. Where does he range for you, his ceiling? Between that 11 and 15, or does he break top 10?
I think, to be honest,
and I agree, by the way, he can be a top 15 in my opinion when he's fully polished in his ceiling.
Yes.
But it does matter if it's 11 to 15 or top 10. Which one do you got?
I really think, to be honest, I think he could crack the top 10 because of his accuracy if he learns how to read the field. But it's going to be all on accuracy and pocket presence because he's going to have those physical limitations. They're going to get worse as he gets older because he's going to be more fragile. He's going to be less fast. It's not a guarantee he breaks the top 10, but I think he could.
So, all right, time to be transparent. If I believe Tua can break the top 10, I don't want Watson. I differ from you in that case, and nothing's wrong with that because we're not far off. I just don't think he can be top 10.
Right.
His ceiling is that 11 to 15 and more so the bottom side for me. But I don't see top 10 in his future. I see some top 10 numbers, but they come with critical mistakes that he makes to not win the game.
It makes sense. I mean, you look at guys like an Eli Manning, for instance. He didn't have all these crazy numbers, but in pressure situations, he came through. And you have some of these guys that sling it all over the field, the Brett Favres of the world, even the Marinos of the world. They throw it all over the field. They got high interceptions, but they find ways to win and win game-winning drives. You make a great point. He might have those nice stats like he does the last 2 games. Stat line isn't bad, but we saw 2 critical turnovers at critical moments that really, I think, I saw earlier today, you said about 60%. I agree. Kind of switched the game in the favor of Atlanta. And yeah, you're right. That prevents a true top 10. So it's a valid point. And
those things can be fixed, but at the same token, I also factor in the fact that we played the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
And the Jacksonville Jaguars. People are raving about numbers again, and everybody's putting these numbers up on these teams. I presented that earlier, that Tom Brady, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions against Atlanta, almost 300 yards. And then people said, but that's the GOAT. Then what about Jalen Hurts? 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions against them. And they actually had a good running game day as well. No, well, one-offs. Okay, Tyler Heineke, the same thing, almost 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. All of those guys didn't even give up an interception.
You're right.
But Tua gives up 2.
I didn't even think about that. To be honest, I was so caught up in trying to be optimistic out of my depressive stage that I was so hopeful with Tua. I didn't even think about that. You're right. These are 2 kind of bottom-dwelling teams. I mean, Atlanta's looking mediocre now because their record, because they beat us. But you're right. 2 bottom-dwelling teams. It doesn't tell us all that much. You're right. And he still threw the interceptions.
And my issue with Tua is this. This man has thrown the ball almost 500 times now.
Right.
Not a single play over 40 yards.
And in this league now, with the way teams have to win, that's not a good stat.
Joe Burrow probably already got 15 of them. Herbert probably already got 25 of those.
Right. Tua. Now, why do you think we made that move? Was it because they really saw something in the analysis, in the pre-draft analysis, that made them think this is the guy? Or do you think the hype played a role in it? Because to me, I don't know why they didn't just get Herbert with the measurables that he had.
I don't know the answer to that.
I wonder about it every day. Was Ross pushing it because of the marketing? Remember, they had a lot of commercials lined up for him already. Like,
we assume the answer to that all the time. We say it's Ross. We say they are in bed with Alabama. We say, they were fool. I have no clue, bro. I have no clue. Well, let me ask you this, because my only issue with Tua Tagovailoa, I've always said he's a year 3 guy. So I feel like next year he's going to show you, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe he's just terrible, but I feel like next year he'll be able to show you top 15 play, maybe number 15 or whatever.
Right.
But again, to win in this league, I feel like if you're top 15, if you're in the around 15, you got everything got to be perfect around you. Right now, everything isn't perfect around you, and I don't see it getting perfect in the near future. And this is why you need a quarterback that can carry that difference, whether it works or not. But let me ask you this. The Deshaun Watson situation, what's your thoughts on that?
I think you got to go get him, and I think you got to get him now before the trade deadline expires, because in the offseason, you already see Carolina. Now, whether that's just more media speculation, whether that's something to try to up the ante from Miami, we don't know. We'll know in a week. But there's going to be more teams that are going to reassess their quarterback situation. There's going to be regime changes that are going to want to go out and get Watson. If you don't do it now, it's going to be harder to do in the offseason. But here's my thing. To your point, I don't see it getting better for Tua, not substantially better enough for him to succeed here. It's also going to be stale now because of all the rumors that flew around. So there's obviously the thought's got to be creeping into his head, whether he says it or not, that they're not confident in him. But here's the other thing. You go out and get Watson. Do we now roll with this regime with Watson for how many more years? Because I'm not confident that they're going to put the right team around him. But, TD, here's my thing. If you go out and get him, he's still in his prime. He still has a lot of years to play. You can have this regime try another year or not. You could switch regimes. You could go through another one with his input, unlike Houston did, which is why he wants out, with his input as to who should be the GM, the coach, and work with him. For the team long-term, with or without this regime, you go and get a generational talent like Deshaun Watson, and you have the chance, you do it now, and you lock him down.
Now, here's why I'm such a Watson advocate, right? Because you're right. You have no confidence they're going to put what he needs around him either. But this team is already built for Watson. This team already has everything he needs around him.
Good point.
You see what I'm saying? He makes up for the offensive line deficiencies. What people don't want to talk about is how terrible the offensive line has been in Houston for him. Why they gave the farm away for Laramie Tunsil, and he still produced with this O-line. That's one of our biggest weaknesses. He checks that box to be able to still make plays despite of, right?
Yes.
Also, this defense is going to perform 10 times better than Houston has performed for him, especially last year when J.J. Watt came out and said, we are wasting his prime, and I am sorry on behalf of the defense.
Yes.
Because he's out there doing Superman stuff, and we're doing nothing.
Right.
This team is already good enough for Deshaun Watson. This isn't a case where you have to put tons of things around him. He already has weapons in the receiving core here in Miami that he didn't have in Houston when he led the NFL in passing yards with Will Fuller suspended, with Randall Cobb out 7 games due to injury, and they traded away D-Hop. Yep. Nobody can even name anybody else on the roster he was throwing to.
Yeah. And I think
nobody can even name it. Right. And he did that. So this team is already built for Watson, where we would be 5-2 right now if we had Deshaun Watson, in my opinion. And that's just being generous and going ahead and giving Buffalo and Tampa the wins, even though I feel like he might have gotten one of those, but I'll leave it alone. So everybody says he also had Brandon Cook. Okay, was he the only consistent guy? He had Cooks and Cobbs. Cobbs didn't play 7 games due to injury. So is that the only guy, Brandon Cooks? I mean, can anybody sit here and debate with me that we have a better wide receiver core than he had last year? No, you can't. So no matter who you name, they did not have a better wide receiver. They did not have a better wide receiver core than we do now. We doubled their production. We doubled their skill at the wide receiver position. He didn't have a Waddle. He didn't have a Gesicki. He didn't have those guys.
I think if and when we get the chance to see him from Miami, people are going to be blown out of the water by how well he's going to do with these weapons that we have. They don't realize what we're not doing with Tua and Brissett.
Gesicki will actually be a Pro Bowler with Deshaun Watson.
Yes.
Gesicki will be a 100-yard per game tight end with Deshaun Watson.
Easily.
Nobody wants to talk about that.
Easily.
And Gesicki is around here running routes, and every time Tua checks down and he wide open, he pouting on the field. Everybody's going to ignore that.
Gesicki, you watch him play. Whenever he gets a pass down the field, he spins the ball, then he's getting the crowd up. He wants to win. He wants to inject energy into this team. He's a playmaker. He's a difference maker. I don't know what's going on with his contract situation. It's another topic, but he's a playmaker. And give him a QB who's going to give him those chances consistently, like a Watson. Watch him spring to life. Watch this team change its entire perspective and perception when you get a quarterback like that surrounded by these guys. Watch these guys get elevated. You know what I say, TD, a lot? I said a great quarterback doesn't need everybody around him to elevate his play. A great quarterback elevates the play of everybody around him. And we haven't had that difference maker at quarterback who's going to make the O-line look better, the receivers look better, everybody look better because he's so good. You know?
Listen, and we're going to get to another subject in a moment in regards to that, what you just said. He is that good. People complain, Waddle is being used as this little gadget weapon guy to keep on getting these 5, 10, 5, 7, 9-yard catches all day.
Yes.
Watson will have him running deep crossing routes for 30, 40, and 50-yard touchdowns all day. And we talk about we could have had Chase, who's out here connecting with Burrow all day. We could have had Pitts, who's out here connecting with Matt Ryan. We got Waddle. I am not going to sit here and dog on the pick for Waddle because he could be doing the same thing if he had a quarterback who could put the ball exactly where it needs to be on deep routes. It's that simple. You would be raving about Waddle if Deshaun Watson was here. Now, I want to go over to the legal stuff for a second, and you may be the expert on this. And before I do, I want to read this comment that I just saw in the comment section, and I thought it's hilarious.
Okay.
Joe L. Burr said, "I'm out of here, TD. I will no longer support you, TD. It's sad you ignore Watson's off-field issues so quickly, man. Football isn't more important than sexual assault, man. Shame on you." Now, you being an attorney, how do you feel about public perception versus concrete facts?
I think number one, here's something that everybody should pay attention to in any news story they ever watch, right? Whenever you read a news article and it says that a new civil lawsuit was brought against somebody, and the quotes about what happened say, according to the plaintiff's attorney or according to the victim's attorney, you should know that civil lawsuits, when they come out, they're going to file the biggest accusations they can when they first file it. But that's not real factual news because they're going to have a chance to come back and contradict the accusations and to fight it out. So any of the civil lawsuit stuff, take with a grain of salt just because that's just the accusation. No one's had a chance to respond to it yet. Number two, I think in today's society, I'm not going to go crazy outside the box with football, but we have a tendency to just say, well, whatever the accuser said, whatever the info is out there, they're just guilty. They're guilty until proven innocent. But that's not how the legal system works. The legal system is innocent until proven guilty. And right now, TD, we haven't even had an indictment come from the grand jury. So there's actually no criminal pending trial yet. We don't know if there even is going to be a criminal trial coming at all. It could never happen. They're just investigating it right now on the criminal side.
But there's 22 accusers on the civil side, though, someone says.
Well, look, I don't know. And look, you don't know, I don't know, they don't know in the chat. We don't know what transpired between him and these women. If he did this, obviously that's a terrible thing and he should be held accountable. I know you agree with that. I agree with that. If we find out he did this and a court of law finds him guilty, that changes the whole dynamic of the conversation. But as of right now, he's innocent until proven guilty. He hasn't admitted to anything. There hasn't been any resolution to the accusations that prove he's guilty or anything of that nature. And we're talking about football. And from a football perspective, he is a huge upgrade in the top 5 quarterback. And it's one thing to discuss the legal issues in terms of how does it affect the team that gets him. But we're not sitting here just because we're advocating for Watson as a football player that we're ignoring the accusations or we don't care. We don't know what the situation is, TD. We don't know if he did it or not. We don't know anything. So to just act like we can't support him, we can't advocate for him on the field because of that, that's disingenuous. That's not fair.
I agree. You used the perfect word. It is disingenuous. And the reality is some people have an agenda with Tua. And that's why they have that. That's why they are disingenuous. They want to. And ladies and gentlemen, let me say this real quick, Larry.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with being a fan of Tua Tagovailoa. I understand where you're coming from because you believe in him so much that you know he will end up being great. I understand. I have the same feeling for, I'm not going to use Ryan Tannehill. I'm going to say Rajon Rondo in the NBA. I'm the same way. Start this man over Russell Westbrook right now. Russell Westbrook just turns the ball over. Rondo knows how to control the team. You just want to see him be the guy and be successful because you believe in it.
Yes.
Whether it's the best thing or not for the team, you want to see that guy do it because you followed him and you wish for his success. For the record, ladies and gentlemen, nothing is wrong with that. You should feel that way about Tua. You want Tua to not only be great, but you want him to be great for the Miami Dolphins. You also want to prove all his doubters wrong. I feel you on that. I want to prove TD wrong. I actually feel you on that. Whether y'all want to believe me right now, say I'm not being genuine, I swear to y'all, I feel you on that. That's what you do when you're a fan. And I root for you all to be successful because what you don't realize about me is that if you're right and I'm wrong, we both win anyway. So if Tua ends up being that guy and TD was wrong, we both actually win anyway. But I'm just calling it how I see it, and it doesn't make me right, Larry. It doesn't make you right, Larry. We could be totally wrong about Tua, and we could look up 5 years from now like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy the Dolphins didn't do what I wanted them to do. I am so glad they looked at me like I was an idiot and they kept Tua and he ended up taking us to Super Bowls. He's the greatest ever. But it's unfair to people like me that I can respect your opinion and your belief in him, but you can't respect my opinion and my disbelief. One of us is going to be wrong. If we trade for Watson or Tua ends up not being the guy after 5-7 years and we trade him, I'm not going to sit here with the I told you so. A lot of y'all think I am. Now, don't get me wrong. There's certain people I'm calling out now. There are certain people I'm calling out only because they called me out for my opinion. It is what it is. Time will tell, and it always does. But the problem is people cross the line. They get in there 2021. This is a new day and age. They get in what you call feelings. You know, back in the day, feelings, you know, was only allowed on a 20% basis. You know, hey, don't get out of control with your feelings. It'll steer you the wrong way. Now feelings is allowed on 80% basis, and it's justified. It's actually praised. Show your feelings. Be sensitive. You know, cry about it. No one's going to look. I don't know what it is in today's world, bro, but it is what it is.
You know what?
Go ahead.
Everything you said, I agree with, obviously. And I do think it's this emotional First of all, just to your point, you can be objective. This idea that to be a fan, you just got to root for anything all the time and never be objective. We're being objective people just saying we don't believe he's the guy. We want to be wrong. We hope we're wrong because that means the Dolphins win. That people got to understand that. We're not trying to play I told you so, but the people on the Tua side, not all of them, and it's not even sides. We all are fans of him, but the people that want him to be, they have this belief that he's going to be great no matter what. They don't get objective because even when Brissett came in, you saw it. They were trying to find every reason why Brissett was so bad, not because they didn't like him, because the worse he was, the more upgrade Tua was, which just reinforced this idea of how great Tua is. It's the same way with the Watson thing. They're just grasping at any reason to just stick with Tua because they're so emotionally, to your point, emotions in 2021, they're so emotionally invested that they're like, well, how dare you? The reason I don't like Watson because of the accusations, blah, blah, blah. That's just, they say that because of Tua, because they're so invested.
They're too invested in Tua. Like, look at this comment on the screen, bro.
I see it.
He said, the difference here is that TD doesn't want Tua to be good to prove his point. See, this is let me show y'all how wrong Tagovailoa is. First of all, Tua is already good.
Right.
You see how wrong you are? You just heard TD say Tua is already good.
We said that
but
too.
Unfortunately, good ain't good enough sometimes. Like, listen, please pin the comment now. Tua is already good. Tua's a good quarterback. But when did good ever win a Super Bowl? You either had to play great. You could have been a good quarterback that played great one year that won a Super Bowl, but just like Flacco. Flacco is a good quarterback, but he played great that Super Bowl year. Nobody talk about that. So Tua is already good, but is he good enough? I always yell this out, Larry. There are levels to this, bro.
Yes.
There are levels.
Yes.
And people's fine with mediocrity. Do you understand that? But like the majority of NFL quarterbacks are good.
You know what? What's kind of funny is you are calling out that he's not great because you want the team to elevate itself. But if he becomes great, you're happy because you want to win. I think the people that want to prove their point are some of the people like the gentleman on the comment right here. They'd rather stay mediocre and make excuses for Tua all the time just to keep maintaining the false belief that they're right, even though we stay 500 or below.
That's what it is. That's what it is. And someone says to me, TD is basing this off of a 10-win season when this is a new year, where Tua is 1-2 and about to be 1-3, might I add. Let's just be clear about that.
We know.
About to be 1-3. So we keep basing off of this year if you want to. Because all we heard, Larry, for the last 4 weeks, as Jacoby Brissett was in, you could say what you want about Tua, but he wins games.
Remember that? That was a big line.
Come on, bro. Listen, let me ask you this, bro. Y'all hit the like button, man. Y'all hit the like button. Haters, you can hit the dislike. We appreciate it. It's all engagement. Let me say this. Let me ask you this. What do the Miami Dolphins do at this point? Because I think they're going to screw up the Watson thing regardless.
I think so too. I have no faith in them anymore to do the right thing. I think what they need to do is go out and get Watson. You give them whatever, because it's not like we pick anybody good with our picks anyway. Give them the picks. Give them players, like you said the other day. Start trading away some of these pieces that have, return value, because we're not going to go anywhere with this regime fast. Get Watson, and here's my thing. You have the rest of the year to see if he's got a vision with this regime. I don't believe in this regime at all, but if you're Mr. Ross and you do, give him a chance the rest of the year to see if Watson meshes with them. If he does, have a plan and go forward. If he doesn't, clean house. Now you got Watson. You'll attract some good candidates. You get some candidates in here for GM and coach, and you build around Watson. Now you have a big piece, the biggest piece on any football team, top 5. Go do it. Go do it now. Don't let Carolina swoop in. Don't be silly. Go get him. He wants to play here for some odd reason. Go get him. Why are you going to blow that? Don't blow that.
They're going to blow it, bro.
I already believe it. I do.
I'm already told people this months ago. Miami has an offer on the table. They are not going up from that offer.
Mm-hmm.
I said this months ago.
You were right.
The only thing that worked in our favor is the other teams that had a counter offer that might have even been better. Watson said, I'm not going there. Yes. And now we find ourselves in a situation where a few teams that he would maybe be willing to go to are going to enter this situation. They're going to try to bring a better offer, and Miami's not going to go up on their offer.
I think
you got an offer on the table, and that offer has been the same offer since day one. Mm-hmm. Now, no. Let me stop. It wasn't the same day one. Day one, they gave him the house, and the deal was supposed to get done. But then the allegations came out. Then we gave an offer we thought was fair with the allegations, and that's been sitting on the table for months now. And Houston's like, we ain't in no rush. We know we could do better, but we're not in a rush.
And that's why I think
the only reason it was leaked this week that Miami is at the table and Houston told other teams you got to beat Miami offer is only to get more interest.
100%.
They had no more interest. They had Miami's offer sitting there as the best offer, and nobody else got a better offer. And those who did, Watson don't want to go there, and it's been sitting there, and they're like, well, we're not in a rush. Let's see how things turn out. There's always going to be 2 or 3 teams that are having a project quarterback, and they're going to bomb it out, and they're going to get in the mix. We don't have to rush. He's only $10 million this year. Let's pay the man. Go sit on vacation in Miami like you're doing with your girl. And that's 100. What Watson's doing. Houston is sitting back saying, we don't have to rush to send him to Miami. We love to get it done by the trade deadline, and we're going to try to, but we might wait to the very last minute because we might be able to get in a better situation as long as some teams start folding. And who's folding?
Carolina.
Not only Carolina, you got San Francisco that people need to not ignore.
True.
Teams like San Francisco, teams like Carolina. The Eagles, he don't want to go to, so I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, I think that came out.
Trying to bring them up,
right?
But if those teams offer more, I am telling y'all now. I actually said this a few months ago. I said if they're trying to get 3 first-round picks, 3 seconds, and a player or 2, Miami can't do it. From what I know to be the offer, 3 first-round picks, 1 second. I believe that's the offer that Miami has on the table. 3 first and 1 second. Mm-hmm. Again, that's hearsay from somebody that I feel like is credible, but it's still hearsay. I don't try to put definites on certain people. But 3 first and 1 second. I don't think we go up from there. And I have to honestly tell you, I'm so frustrated that the fan in me says, give them everything to get Watson. But the calm version of me that's, thinking with my head, anything more than 3 first and a second, just stick with Tua.
Yeah, because it's a hefty price with the legal situation.
I'm not opposed. Now, we had the legal situation cleared up. Give them anything and everything they want.
True.
But with the legal situation, if the deal is more than 3 first, like if they end up trading to another team and that deal was worth more than 3 first and 1 second, then I feel good. Let's move on with 2 and see what happens.
Right.
I don't care if it was 3 first, 1 second, and a 7th by another team. I'm fine with it. Hey, y'all take it. You see, at some point you got to draw the line or it can keep being moved.
Yes.
So I know what Chris Greer is doing. He's making a smart play here saying, this is all I'm going to give you. And Houston's like, man, I know we can get better from somebody. If we could just get one of these teams who Deshaun will approve, we'll get better. And now we run into a situation where the season is coming up perfect for Houston because there are definite teams that he may be interested in waiving the clause that might offer more. That's why I'm starting to back off of we may not get Watson.
Me too. I'm scared of that because why would you too? Look at somebody like Carolina. They got a good coach. They have a decent supporting cast. You know, why wouldn't he consider them as opposed to us who are 1-6, a coaching staff may be unstable. I don't know if he's got some kind of relationship with them, with us meaning like Greer and Flores, but why wouldn't he consider them? I'm starting to get less optimistic too if they or some other teams like San Fran get in the picture because why wouldn't he consider them? And if they're willing to pay a lot, why wouldn't he? That's scary. That's scary, TD. And my world's going to crumble when that happens, but I'm going to just deal with it because, like I said, I'm just in a rut anyway with the Dolphins. So,
well, let me ask you a question. And this is a great question from Finsanity, a great one she posed to me. Is there a team that we can trade Tua to? And he'd be a starter right away.
That's a real good question. I mean,
Houston doesn't want him. They prefer Mills, which is crazy to me over him. But what team could we trade Tua to and he could be a starter right now? I'm just curious. That they'd go ahead and start him over whoever they traded for. And can we even trade him to him? Are they even interested?
I think, look, somebody like a Carolina, some of these other teams we mentioned, Philly, who might have wanted Deshaun, why wouldn't they maybe want to take a chance on Tua, especially if the price wasn't too much? Somebody like Carolina, you got Darnold, you took a flyer on him. He's got a longer body of work than Tua does, and it doesn't look good. So Tua's promising, and you got a good coach, a good staff, you got a decent team around you. Maybe they take a chance on him depending on the price. Philly, same thing. I think there are some teams where, is Tua a 100% huge upgrade over they have starting? Maybe not. But for the future, with the tools he has, with you and I saying he could be a top 15, there might be some teams depending on price that would take him and he could start. I think so. And I say Carolina, Philly.
What do you get for him, though?
That's the $1 million question because
I can name 15 teams that'll take him for a fourth rounder.
True.
But if we're talking about first round compensation, what teams will give us a first round pick right now for Tua?
None. I don't think any. I think a second, maybe a first. They have to really like him. And I think there were already concerns about him coming out of college. Then the injury this year, and then the way he's been playing, it makes a first. Maybe one first, maybe. But I don't know, man.
Have we really gotten to the point where no one would give a first for Tua? I am asking who will give him a first? Who will give us a first for Tua right now?
I don't think anybody, because look at Houston. They prefer their. Now, we can disagree with them. Who do you think? I think really maybe Carolina, maybe Philly, but I don't know, man. If it's a lower first, like is this a team that's going to finish in the bottom 5, they're not going to give it up, right? If this is a team.
That makes the Josh Rosen trade even worse. We
terrible. Gave
a second for Rosen, and nobody would give a first right now for Tua. Not even Pittsburgh. Who's still going to be drafting late, and they're not going to have the capital to bring in their future quarterback, so they need to start figuring that out too.
Well, that makes sense, like I said, because they're not going to finish with a top 5 pick. They're going to have a low first-round pick. It might make sense. You know what it really boils down to, TD? Who in their scouting department had him high up on their board prior to him playing for Miami? Who still believes in him?
That's a tricky one, though. See, you snuck that one in. That's a tricky one because everybody had him high on the board.
True. Fair enough.
And then you go look at where they had Herbert on the board. So that throws that out the window.
You're right. Who believes in him now? Because you know what another point is, though? We put a lot on Tua. We put a lot on every player on this team. We put a lot on Greer. We say he picked all these bust draft picks. Like you said about Waddle, you're not going to put Waddle in the doghouse because of the way the team is around him. How much of our bad draft picks or even Tua's play has to do with our coaching? We don't really know if our coaching's good or not. If our coaching is bad, then these picks are not going to shine on our team where other picks are going to shine on other teams. Doesn't necessarily mean we picked the wrong guy. Maybe our coaches can't develop them properly. So who out there believes Miami just can't coach Tua properly and wants to take a chance on him? Maybe there's some teams out there. I don't know.
Somebody got a question. Say, is it possible Watson only said he is interested in other teams so that Miami would hurry up and pull the trigger by making Miami raise the offer? Is that a possibility?
I think there's a lot going on, and you know what? I hope one day there's a documentary just like they did with the Dan Marino, John Elway draft, where they go into all the inner workings. Because I bet Watson's involved in some of these leaks. The Houston Texans are involved in these leaks. I think you're right. They just leaked it to up the ante because Miami has an offer on the table. I don't think it's coming from Watson's camp necessarily. Maybe.
Hey, you just said something so interesting.
Yeah.
Do y'all realize how much Houston is disrespecting us?
Bad.
Houston got an offer from the Dolphins, and they're not being professional by keeping it private. They're basically saying, screw them. They got us on tussle anyway. Everybody, Miami in. You want Watson? Beat they offer. I don't care nothing about the mutual, because you hear Flores in his presser. Usually we hope that other teams stay mutual with our conversations and different things like that. Houston don't care right now. Houston, like, you want Watson, you got to beat Miami's offer.
Yup. Disrespect. Straight.
And let's go back to the beginning of all of this. What people need to understand, this isn't even about Deshaun Watson. Let's get something straight here, and some of y'all ain't going to like what I'm about to say. Let's get something straight here. This ain't about Deshaun Watson. This is about the fact that our organization has already seen enough in Tua to pursue Deshaun Watson. See, y'all don't want to have that conversation.
It's a whole nother one. You're right.
You think the Chargers pursuing Watson? You think the Bengals pursuing Watson? The Miami Dolphins have already seen enough, and they know some stuff that we keep speculating about, but we're not talking about because none of us have proof about Tua that they feel we need to go get Deshaun Watson. See, now y'all don't want to have that conversation. That's the truth of the matter. Whether we get Watson or not, just to know, because nobody can deny that we ain't making an offer for Watson. Nobody can deny it at this point. If you do deny it, then that's your own self-pity, okay? That's ridiculous. That's what this is about. They've already seen what they wanted to see, and they feel like they definitely need to upgrade to a generational quarterback, and they don't believe in Tua. Now, Tua can still go somewhere else and end up being the greatest of all time. We can end up making the biggest debacle ever. But what y'all need to understand is, stop getting mad at me for talking about exactly what this organization already feels.
And remember,
stop getting mad at me.
Remember, they see him in practice, TD. They see him. They know his acumen with learning the playbook. They see a lot more than we see, and they've made the decision to go pretty hard after Watson. So you make a great point, whether we get him or not. And that's why I think no matter what happens with Watson, the Tua thing is broken anyway, because they've already showed they don't believe in him. And unless we went down that rabbit hole. You
got this man throwing the ball over 500 times in his career, and he ain't had a single pass over 40 yards completed. Ladies and gentlemen, they know what they believe he could do. They know his limitations that he could do. They are giving him a game plan that they feel he can do. Even if he can do more, they just don't believe in it. So they are giving him a game plan that they feel will make him look like an 80% completion guy every week. Because the Miami Dolphins feel like if they open up the playbook and have Tua slinging the ball all up and down the field, he going to be a 50% completion guy with 4 picks a game. That's what they truly believe. You ain't got to listen. There ain't no other explanation. You can get mad all you want. This ain't about what TD feels. The Miami Dolphins are telling y'all this. All I'm doing is deciphering what they already telling you. You're getting mad at me for telling you what they are basically telling you. They're not going to say it in words. They're not going to say it in words.
I love how when Flores came out and said, the typical classic, if you've been following football or any sports for any time of your life, the classic, he's our quarterback right now. We have confidence. And they're acting like that's some dispelling of the rumors. That actually confirms it. He didn't say we're not pursuing Watson. He said right now. That means tomorrow is not right now, and he might not be. That tells you all you need to know.
I've never seen an organization who has had 20 opportunities to basically say we are not pursuing Deshaun Watson. Tua is our guy.
Mm-hmm.
See, they only want to give you one part of that. Not only that, let me tell you the icing on the cake. The Houston Texans are straight up calling you out, telling the world you got to beat Miami's offer.
Yep.
And you're not even calling that out. You're not coming out and be like, Houston's wrong. I don't even know what they're talking about. No, you're letting another organization basically tell everybody what you're doing. And I'm going to be honest with you. There is a part of me that feels like since Houston is open lip about it, that's more of the reason they won't increase the offer, because they don't want to see, they could always get on the other side of this. They could always, if they don't end up getting Watson, people keep talking about these rumors, but now watch, if we don't get Watson, watch they come out the very next day. You know, all these rumors out there, you know, all these untrue rumors. They're not going to say that it was untrue that they were trying to get Watson. They're going to start talking like all of these untrue rumors. We just focus on our game and our football, our team. All this stuff about this player and that player, we don't get into all of that. We've been focused on Tua, making sure he improves and that he can lead this team going forward. They're going to skirt that too, but they're going to make it sound like we weren't dealing with Watson this whole time. Lies, like what? Mark my words. And hopefully we don't have to live to see that. But if they don't get Watson, you mark my words. That's what they're going to say. And everybody going to be running around here. See, they never was pursuing Watson. That's all speculation. See, y'all never knew what y'all were talking about. We already know how this game is played.
So true. They did it with the draft, TD. They did it with the draft. Remember, they tried to trade up for Joe Burrow, but they denied that after the fact. Yep. And the reports were everywhere. And you know, you could tell when a commentator or journalist is confident because they don't, I heard. They look at it, they're like, they were trying to trade up. And they were. And then they acted like, no, we were never doing that. We're comfortable, confident. Whatever. People are going to hang their hat on that, though.
Same thing with Josh Rosen. We have given Josh Rosen a list of things to improve. He has checked the box on all of them. We look forward to him showing us next year that he can lead this team. Offseason comes, gone.
This is what they do. I mean, anybody who follows sports knows this. I mean, you can't hang your hat on some of these statements. You got to read between the lines, and it's obvious what's happening here. You know it. I know it. Anybody who's really thinking about it knows it. Only people who don't know it are people who want to lie to themselves because of their vested emotional interest in their fandom over a certain player. And that's, I feel for them, but I just can't bring myself there.
Tua is not a fit for these coaches and vice versa. They do not know how to develop a QB, and I agree with that. Also, the fan base do not want to wait to develop a QB. Exactly.
Agreed.
That's if you develop them, if they can turn out great. So you're right about that. One thing I do appreciate, though, they are transparent with Tua. Did you see his press conference?
Yes.
And he said it.
Yes. I respect that, honestly. And he does, I'm sure, you know.
They asked him, they said, about all the Deshaun Watson rumors. He said, I appreciate Brian Flores' transparency and where he is on that situation, but I'll keep our conversations private, just like he does. And then the next person said, hey, but isn't it distracting? He said, yeah, but like I told Omar, they do a good job. Flores sits me down. Greer sits me down. He tells me what's going on in that situation. And, they're transparent. They're honest about it, and all I can focus on is, this team in Miami and what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. But I am telling y'all now, they have had the conversation with Tua Tagovailoa. But Greer is a shrewd operator. I'm going to tell you now, and this is all speculation, but I know Greer's personality and I know how he operates. This is exactly what I believe Greer is telling Tua. Listen, we love you. We believe in you. We are always looking to upgrade a position. Right now, we believe in your long-term success. But we also, when we have an opportunity, just in case any other things go wrong, if you have any other injuries and things like that, we have to be on the safe side. We want you here in Miami, and we want you to be our franchise quarterback.
Right.
So what we're doing right now, we're putting an offer out for Deshaun Watson. It's not even a massive offer. It's actually an offer where we would be making a steal. And if they accept it, we just have to go with it.
I'm sure.
And we don't think they'll accept it because we're not offering a crazy amount that we feel that he's worth, because we believe in you. But if we got an opportunity to upgrade the position at a cheap price, we have to go with that right now, and that's the reality. So right now, we just need you focused on being a Miami Dolphin, being our franchise quarterback, because we don't think we'll get the trade done anyway because we're not offering enough. But if for some reason they're crazy enough to take our deal, business is business. And that's what Greer is telling him, because that way it looks like just like the Laramie Tunsil situation. Laramie Tunsil walked in the room. They said Laramie Tunsil said, "I trade me for that."
He did.
But now they're presenting it that way. And I know Greer is a shrewd operator, man. He's going to sell this situation even to Tua, so that if it doesn't go down, they still got Tua and they know that he believes in him. But we know what time it is.
100.
We know what time it is, man. I know we're running out of time, but last few questions I got for you, man. What's your outlook on the rest of the season with Tua?
You know what? I think our schedule breaks. We got 2 games against the Jets. We got a game against the Giants. We got a couple other winnable games. Are we going to have a winning streak and just rattle off a bunch of wins? No. We're going to take it on the chin against the Bills. We always do. We've proven that. Not to mention they're a really good team. But look, I think if we keep Tua, I could see us trying to gain, claw our way to a level of respectability and to a level where we don't miss that first-round pick so bad because we're middle of the pack more so. And I want to see at that point, I'm just strictly watching on Sundays to see if Tua develops more and more and more. And that should be the only primary goal the rest of the year if we stick with Tua. We're not going to have a winning year, I don't think. I think that ship has sailed. But claw our way back to respectability, maybe upset a team, play spoiler. I think that's where our trajectory is if it's Tua.
Record.
We got the extra game now too, right? Maybe 6-11 at this point. Maybe 7-10. To be honest, it's 5 more games.
7-10, basically somewhere around the 500 range for the rest of the season with Tua.
Yeah, if we pick up our play, because the downside is we just go on an all-out skid and we finish real bad, which is also possible.
That's what's frustrating about this. I want to have so much hope for this team, even to make it respectable and end up 8-8, but we just lost to the 2 worst teams in the NFL, or 2 of the worst teams in the NFL. Because the Jets and Giants are still in there for me. But we just lost to them.
Yeah.
And I'm still looking at our schedule like we could beat them, and I'm hopeful for it, but we just lost to 2 of the worst.
It's going to be hard.
And I don't know why I still got this feeling we could beat this and we could beat that, but there's no evidence to support it. But I still hold out that faith.
I don't blame you. You're a fan. I mean, I'm looking at somebody like Carolina even now, like, oh, we could take them. But they're a similar team to Atlanta. And you just knew when they got the ball that our defense wasn't going to stop them. We don't play very good complementary football. We make mistakes at an opportunity. I believe it too with you, but we really might not. And we might not win another 6-7 games like I'm hoping. I don't know. I don't know.
Man, oh man, this is crazy. I'm frustrated, man.
Me too.
We've
Real
gotten
frustrated.
to this point. I can't believe it, man. This is embarrassing. Y'all hit the like button. We had almost 500 people in the room at Max today. Larry K with Phin, Addict, Fury. Y'all have to check out his channel. If you haven't checked it out yet, you're definitely missing out, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Phin, Addict, Fury on YouTube. Make sure you check it out. Matter of fact, I got one better for you all. Let me do this. Let's go ahead and take care of business right now as we got 400 people in the building. Do me a favor. Go over to the homie. I just dropped the link. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification button. Let them know that you're there to listen to the content because it is good content. I promise y'all that. I put my word on that. So make sure you check it out. And again, I promise y'all, I didn't even know some of these things he actually agreed with me on. So this isn't a case of me just trying to promote somebody who agrees with the things I say. He's always been genuine saying what he said. I appreciate you, Larry, for keeping it 100. I look forward to the content. You want to talk to the people real quick? Let them know that they can get on the channel.
Yeah, come on the channel, Fanatic Fury. I try to post every Sunday and during the week when big news happens. I'm always putting out content analysis, always trying to communicate with everybody, answer the comments, talk to them. So I'd love to have you over there. Please click subscribe. You won't regret it. There's a lot of great content on its way. And TD, I really appreciate the kind words and giving me the opportunity and the platform here. And I hope we could link again real soon.
We have to. We're not gonna hope.
We're doing it.
That's that Tua stuff. All that hope that's that Tua stuff. I don't do that hope stuff.
True.
All
good.
right. So let's make sure we link up and try to, collab and work together on occasions, man. I appreciate you coming through, blessing us with your presence on this channel. It's always good to hear from somebody else because I know people get tired of hearing my voice and, my crazy takes, I guess. Yes, man, we got the Jersey guy in the house, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We got a lot of Jersey subscribers on this channel, man.
So that's good.
So they rep Jersey for sure, man.
Love it.
And I appreciate everybody who went over and subbed. I think about 30 of y'all have already subbed, if I'm not mistaken. Before we started, I think you're at 120 something.
Yes. Love
yeah,
it.
and it's up to about 160 something by the time
Beautiful.
all of this is done. We'll keep on moving it because people need to know about you. That's why I took interest, because good content people just got to know about.
Exactly.
YouTube ain't gonna tell everybody about you. So I appreciate you coming through. Thanks for the opportunity. Any last words you got for everybody?
Nah, just what? Go Phins. Let's see what happens this week. If something goes crazy and we get Watson, we will be on it. We'll be on YouTube putting the content out, discussing it. Until then, if we don't, look, just keep your spirits up. It's fun to be a football fan. A lot of fun comes with the community and everything, regardless of the record. So keep enjoying it. And it was a blessing to be with everybody today.
Appreciate you so much, man. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Again, make sure you go subscribe to Fin Addict Fury with Larry K. It's the homie. Make sure y'all check him out. Subscribe to the channel. You're over 170 now and it's moving,
Love it,
bro.
brother. Love it.
That's what's up, man.
That's you. That's the magic touch, man.
No, trust me, they're gonna fall in love with the content and be happy that they subscribe, man. But I'll get with you later, man. I'm about to run, actually pick my little one up from school. Appreciate you. Salute to you, sir. Thank y'all so much. I will see y'all later. Peace. We are out.